Monday, we're going to get into a 19-year-old bro split. So if you haven't had a chance to check out our little post from Julian Michaels that has been going viral, not my post, but a lot of other fitness professionals have been commenting, and they're getting after it. So we posted it on YouTube. I would be interested in your feedback in juxtaposition to how other people are going about it. And some people are getting pretty aggressive and attacking her. So I might feel sorry for her if she actually responds. But so today we're going to get into, if you haven't been to these before, we're going to go through programming for a specific client. These are all case examples from people we've worked with in the past. We will show you how we program and how you would set up the expectations for this client, and also how to combat any objectives that would happen. So first thing that goes through your mind, 19-year-old male, 5'9", 165, BMI 24.5, profession security guard. What goes through your mind immediately when you hear that?
It's a young security guard.
Yeah, yep. And anything else come to mind? I think a common assessment would be he's young, he can't afford it. And that's, I cannot explain enough.
You went to the in-person personal training internships in Los Angeles and San Diego. We've recently
you got both those on there. Hearing my voice, it's like I really sound like a psycho. And so I can't tell you how important it is to surround yourself in an environment like a Lifetime or an Equinox or just a higher end gym to see the clientele there, because the La Jolla Lifetime, these memberships are $200 a month. Equinox is typically a little more, anywhere from $250 plus. Their members make $250K plus, and they're not, worried too much about money. So when you have a kid who comes in 19, don't think about, oh, he can't afford it, because mom and dad are going to be paying for it. Even though he's a security guard, that's all right. So you're pitching to him, you're giving him the experience that he is going to train with you. You're going to sell him on getting in the best shape of his life. So before we read the rest, let's just stereotype this kid. He's 5'9", 165. That's not a big frame, but he's a little soft. I say soft because he's getting up there on the BMI, and we'll talk about how I assume that. Obviously, when you look at him, it's going to be a little different, but that's a curse that we have. We look at people and we size them up pretty quickly. I could be one of those people at the fair, the county fair, and you walk by, I can guess your body fat percentage within 1%. It's not necessarily a gift, it's a curse, but we're aesthetic monsters in that regard. So when he comes in, I'm going to size him up. I'm going to know within a couple of seconds what his goals are. So if we were to stereotype, what do you think this, first off, we always like to give him a name. What's this guy's name today? Come on. You're quiet today. Timmy. Timmy is, what do you think some of his goals are? A stereotype. What do you think Timmy wants?
Look jacked. He wants to make it look like a big security guard. People are being intimidated by him. Big arms, big chest.
He's probably hanging out with some people who have some arm farms, and he wants some big cannons on him. And more than likely, he will probably choose the trainer who is an aesthetic type that he wants. So at the gym, he's going to check people out, and he's going to see that trainer who has his sleeves cut up a little bit or sleeved up, and you can see the big arms, and that's what he wants. So typically you're going to find the main emphasis on muscles would be chest, shoulders, and arms. Abs are a big thing as well. You don't have a six-pack. Legs, rarely are you going to have people who come in stressing legs first. Something that's not a goal, but we'll talk about how we can help them with those overall goals. So his biggest 3 areas of stress are his anxiety because of how I feel about my appearance, the lack of change in my life, and my girlfriend. 19 and you already got some stress on you. So I've tried to train him before and I felt like it was complete BS. They just wanted my money. I hope you guys are actually going to help me reach my goals, not just wanting the money. My goal is to gain a few pounds of lean muscle and have a more positive feeling about life. I know that if I had the right guidance, someone to show me where and how to properly start, I can achieve my goals and more. Who wants to work out 3 or 4 times a week, focusing on upper body more than lower. So I am finishing up my book right now, and I just completed the last little cherry on top, and I'm excited about. That's what I needed, and it was about what I'm calling the trainer happiness equation. And I just thought of that recently, and I'm going through just kind of dotting the I's and crossing the T's, but this is going to be one of the end things that I have. But in the very first page of the book, I suggest 20 books that all trainers should read. And a recent one is this sucker right here. And this is The Coddling of the American Mind. And it's an amazing book. And it's really nice how these researchers present it, where it's not like right or left or educated, non-educated. They just present the information as it is. They take a really thorough analysis on both sides of the political scheme, but also social media and happiness and depression and anxiety and generation. They call it the generation iGen right now versus the millennials. It's really fascinating, the research that's going into it, and it's very scary about the increase in screen time that we're seeing, a decrease in social experiences. And what we're seeing is kids that are 18, 19 actually have the maturity levels of a 13, 14-year-old because they're lacking those experiences that were really important as we were younger. And it's a fascinating book. I highly suggest you guys read it. But I think that we can kind of relate to Timmy, not relate, but we can kind of share about Timmy something that's what they're talking about, where, I don't know about you guys, and we have a range of age and sex in here, but as a 19-year-old, I wasn't really crazy or stressed out about a significant other. I mean, as a young male, I always wanted to get jacked and sometimes I go to the gym, but it wasn't something that was like constantly on my mind, almost like in a body dysmorphic way. An anxiety because how he feels, but also a lack of change with his life. And so you don't want to call this kid like, oh, you're being a little limp. No, you'd never do that. You want to be sympathetic and you address what his goals are. And, what's one of the first things that you'd want to address when he comes in for that assessment?
Well, especially the money issue that he talked about. Seems like the last personal trainer did not make him feel as if he was achieving his goal. The kid sounds like he just, they took his money.
Yeah. That's sometimes, I really apologize about that last experience. Can you tell me a little bit more about what happened? Because trainers typically get a rep where we're just a bunch of meatheads and all we want to do, we're just salesmen. So it's like car salesmen, personal trainers, we're on that same level. And I apologize about that experience that you had. So tell me a little bit more about what happened. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to sit down, talk about your goals. And I want to learn more about your current program that you're doing right now. And then I'll take you through a little demo of what my programs look like for someone like yourself who's trying to put some size on. Because like you said, you want to get some giant arms. You want to fill out that security guard uniform, and you want to feel a little better about yourself. And the cool thing about when you work out regularly and you set PRs and we're changing our physique, T levels are going to go up, testosterone levels. And you already have high T levels right now as a young kid. But with that, the confidence is going to grow. And when you get confidence, stuff's going to start clearing out and getting a better idea of where you want to go. And it's perfectly normal. I can relate to you. I was once 19 eons ago, but I know that you're in a good position, but with the right guidance, we're going to get you exactly where you want to be. Just kind of reaffirm what he is trying to accomplish. And so when in your mind, I think this would be a good time to take a look at stereotypical bro programs. So what you're going to find for the most part, when you hear like of a bro routine, we're looking at more full body or split routines.
Split.
And what would a split typically look like?
Chest and tries, back and thighs, maybe legs, possibly legs, shoulders back, and they'll probably just sprinkle in abs every now and then if they can.
Well, actually, you may even find guys are idiots. And I've met guys that will do a 30-minute ab routine. Like, bro, you gotta do my ab routine. Like, no, I don't. I don't think I do. It's like they get obsessed with, can't tell you, I've actually met guys that will go to the gym and do a calf and ab routine. So guys have it's like, I'm assuming what his program is, and it's typically chest try, back by, legs we forget, so we do shoulders. And then Thursday we'll do some more chest. And then Friday we got a date, so what do? We go hit arms. That's the program that most guys are going to be doing. It's like they will think of arms for guys is girls with the glutes. Girls have 45,000 exercises and different angles and tempos and everything in the world. Guys have the same thing with arms. And so I'm going to essentially take him through his workout. I'm going to show him 1 or 2 new exercises. It's kind of like a Jedi trick. And if you guys haven't seen the new Mandalorian, it's pretty good. But I'm going to kind of mind F this kid by not getting too flashy, but I'm just going to give little pieces of value during his own workout that he does. So I know that he does chest try. And now if he's more sophisticated, which he may be, he could be doing like a chest by, which would be like crazy. Rarely are you going to have a kid who's going to come in and say, I do full body every day. But you want to ask the appropriate questions, part of the PARQ, physical activity readiness questionnaire. You learn from him, but I have my stereotypes. I'm going to just kind of weed out those stereotypes from the information that he gives me. So he's stereotypical. See how good you guys are with names. What's his name?
Timmy.
Okay. And what is Timmy doing on a chest day?
Say that again?
What is Timmy doing on a chest day?
Bench.
He's doing bench press.
Bench? How many reps? How many sets?
3 sets of 10.
Sets.
Yep, I would agree. He's not that big of a dude, 165. He may start out with 95s. He could surprise you and be strong. You're just going to ask him, like, how much do you warm up with Timmy? First off, what do you think Timmy's warm-up routine looks like for a chest day?
Right. Just throws his arm around and maybe does some arm circles or something. Yep.
All right, I'm ready. It's like we're not typically going to be doing any type of crazy stretching, static stretching, foam rolling. That stuff's not cool. And again, we're just getting into that mindset of this kid. So I would guess he probably starts out with 95. Some people start out at the bar. You will just ask that question. Will they typically be doing bigger circuits or what we call straight sets?
Straight sets.
Straight sets. So he's going to do, say he does 95s. He's going to do it 10 times. That maybe you won't even count that as an actual set. So then he'll put on a 135. He'll do it for 10. He'll rest, get on Instagram, take a selfie, do another set, repeat. He'll do it 3 by 10. So after maybe 15 minutes or so, what do you think Timmy's going to go into next?
Incline dumbbells.
Okay, I think incline dumbbells would be a good inclination. And dumbbells, for the most part, are friendlier on the shoulders due to the scapula and how it sits on the rib cage. When you do a barbell, just look at my shoulders. When I do a bench press here versus incline, I'm going to be more in this position. And so that fixed position can wreak havoc if you don't have the optimal range of motion. As we've gone through shoulder anatomy, we should be able to get through 160 degrees of flexion. We should be able to get to 60 degrees of extension. I would like for him to be able to touch his hands behind his back. And these are all things that I'm going to do during the assessment to kind of make him feel bad. Not in like a bad way, but I just want to let him know that flexibility is important. And if I can do it, Timmy, you sure as hell should be able to do this. And so I can kind of use this power of authority because I'm bigger than him. I'm stronger than him. I'm, not being cocky, but he probably wants arms like I do. He wants to be able to bench 225. I'm going to talk his lingo. So he's probably going to warm up. He's not probably going to warm up. He'll go to dumbbells for maybe 35s, maybe 40s or 45s, and end off on 50s. Again, how many sets and reps do you think he's doing?
Same, 3 of 10.
And then what do you think he'll do last? Or maybe he'll do more. What do you guys think?
Flies.
Okay, flies would be a good guess. Kind of the same thing. So chest fly machine, maybe dumbbells. I would say this is a very common routine. Now, you may get someone who does bench press, incline barbell, decline, chest fly, pec deck, maybe dips, maybe Smith machine bench, maybe the hammer presses. There's an assortment of exercises typically you're going to find. The set range will be anywhere from 9 minimum. I've seen some crazy shit recently is as high as like 25 plus. So it's case by case. Typically, you're going to find 3 by 10. So after that, he's then going to get into what?
Triceps.
Okay. And then what do you think he's going to do?
He's either going to do a close grip bench, maybe.
He could. He could. I typically wouldn't see that. I think if you were to
rope pull downs.
Low pull downs. What's
no,
a low
rope.
pull down?
Rope.
Like a tricep extension, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Tricep extension. Okay, what else?
Maybe a kickback.
I mean, kickbacks are pretty up there. I like those. Okay. You may see.
He'll probably do a dip. He'll probably do dips.
Could do some type of variation of a dip. You see a lot of tricep emphasis, kind of the same thing though. I'm guessing in my mind, this is what his routine is. And so how I will play, and I cannot stress enough the importance of opposite sex program analysis and stereotypes, because it gives you so much value, especially with this kid who's 19, knowing that his last trainer wasn't educated. He was a salesperson and trying to get him to sign up with the trainer. I'm going to ask him, be very open, and to get him talking to me. And he then tells me he does this program. I said, great, Timmy, thank you very much. I don't need to know about the rest of your program. And there comes this moment when Timmy will be kind of like, okay, this is like the sales part again. Well, what do you mean, Chris? What do you mean you don't need to go through the rest of our program? I got you, man. On back day, you're going to be doing lat pull downs. You'll be doing cable rows, dumbbell rows, and you do bicep curls, and you're going to do some neutral grip curls. You're probably going to do some Zotman curls, maybe some straight curls, maybe some 21s. Have you done 28s before? You show, and I'm going to name every single thing that he does for the rest of the week. And when I'm done with that, he's like, holy shit, do you watch me train? Like, how do you know? Kenny, I've been in your shoes before, and it's very common for young kids to do these stereotypical programs. And so leg routines, which are funny because what is he going to be doing? Leg press, leg extension, leg curls, calf. That's it. Guys don't squat. And when they do squat, they screw it up. They deadlift, they screw it up. They hurt their back. Guys don't do lunges. Why don't guys do lunges?
Not cool.
They're not cool. You don't brag to your buddies on how much you can freaking lunge. When was the last time you're at the bar having a whiskey and you hear 2 guys talking about how much they can reverse lunge? No, we bench, we squat, we deadlift. That's the stereotype that you're going to find here in the United States. So with that information you have, this is like a gold nugget. So you listen when you're doing the assessment, try to get Timmy to talk the majority of the time. Take some notes. I would highly suggest taking notes because I would assume that his prior trainer wasn't listening and he felt like he was being ignored. So I'm going to take good notes. I'm going to repeat a lot of the things that he says. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out there and I'm going to, during this is because usually how it's going to work, if you're in a corporate gym, what you're going to have is a demo of what training is. So I'm going to take him through, I'll ask him, like, Timmy, what are you on today? And whichever program he's on, I'm going to have him do that, but I'm going to make it more valuable. So which program would you guys like to see today? Chest, back, shoulders, because that's what he's going to choose, one of those.
Shoulders.
All right. So Timmy says that he recently did back yesterday, shoulder today. Mondays are his shoulder day because typically when he comes to the gym on a Monday, it's just too crowded and he can't hit his chest the way that he would like to. So he's going to be different from the crowd. And I like that he's not going to be a sheep. He is going to hit some shoulders. All right. So what do you think Timmy's going to start out with?
Military press.
Good. And I'm going to do pretty much what he's doing, but I'm going to add my 2 cents. And so I'm going to have him do standing military press. And why would I have him do standing military press? Because typically most guys will do them seated. And I want him to learn how to brace his core properly and teach him how to posterior tilt. And I'm going to use this vocabulary. That's how I do it. It works for me. Maybe it's because I've been doing this for so long. I don't know. You have to find an approach that works for you. So I'm going to tell him when he's pressing to point his toes out, because when you point your toes out, it's external rotation. And when you externally rotate, you're going to be getting your glutes engaged. Your glutes posterior tilt your pelvis. And so if you are sitting in a chair right now and you tuck your ass under, that's a posterior tilt. And so what that does, it engages your glutes to not allow for an anterior tilt. And when you get an anterior tilt, that's going to put a lot of pressure on your lumbar spine. I'm going to teach him to squeeze this core. I'm going to smack him. Timmy, keep that nice and strong there to let him know what bracing is. You hear trainers say it all the time. Unfortunately, they don't teach it. Brace, squeeze your core, squeeze your core. What the hell does that mean? Most people don't even know what the heck it means. So you got to teach him what that means. So when he's doing a military press, I'm going to teach him how to do it properly. And then I'm going to start. Go ahead.
I'm sorry about that. When you said when you do the posterior tilt, it externally rotates your hip.
Posterior tilt. So when you so we got a posterior tilt here. When I point my toes out, that's external rotation. So your glutes do 4 things: posterior tilt, externally rotate, abduct, and then extend. So that's just 2 of the mechanisms that your glutes are going to be doing. You'll see people who will do like a close grip press. And what happens is they start arching. Even if you arch, I don't give a shit if you arch, because this is thoracic extension. It's not optimal, no. But if you arch here, but you're squeezing your butt cheeks, your low back's going to be protected. And that's the most important thing is you press weight above. We've all been there. You want to get that ego rep in, set a PR. You're going to get an arch. You will jack your back up if you're not squeezing your glutes. If you squeeze your glutes, your low back will be protected. So it's like, if you're going to get in a crash, if you had to choose seatbelt on or off, you're going to want your seatbelt on. Think of that as what the glutes are doing when you have external rotation and a posterior tilt. So now I'm going to expose them to some stuff that he's probably not used to. And it's going to be superset / compound set / circuit set, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to have him do a chin up next. And I want to see, bet my life, Timmy's going to do chin ups like this. He's going to come down, up, boom, boom. He does these little partial ones. I'm going to use the vocabulary. Timmy, dude, you said you want to feel better about your appearance. How would you like to save a lot of, this is one of my good jokes, you guys better laugh. How would you like to save a lot of money on your laundry bill? Well, what do you mean? Like, dude, when you're doing more chin-ups and multi-jointed exercises and doing legs more, you're going to get shredded in your midsection. So you can just wash your clothes on your abs. Oh, Timmy's going to laugh. He always does. It's like you make it kind of playful. And he'll be like, oh, you know, he wants abs. Everyone wants guys. They want a six-pack. And so by doing a military press, which is going to be a push into a pull, these are antagonistic muscles. It's not going to compromise the integrity. We're not going to go crazy heavy today because he's not used to it. So I'm going to see how he does with the 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe more. I'm just going to have him hop up there and see what he does. The first round is purely observational. I typically don't get too much involved. The second set is when I may get a little more involved. So depending on how he does with the military press, I like to switch it on over to like a single arm one. So I'm going to have him do a split stance military press. And he's going to ask, well, why am I going to do this now? It's because you're going to get your core engaged a lot more, and this is more an athletic stance. And so it's really going to, and also it kind of teaches not to go too heavy because, especially with guys and their egos, it's something that is prevalent. But when you do a split stance single arm, you're going to not go as heavy as you typically do. So I'm going to have him do that, put his arm out, and then I'm going to give him a little bit of engagement to show the value of working with me. And then we're going to go back to the chin-ups, and I'm going to have him do a set of whatever he did last time. But this time I'm going to pull him down a little bit, get engaged as a trainer. And then I'm going to ask him questions that I know he's not doing, but I don't make him feel bad. This is like a psychological Yoda trick where you guys need to learn that when you tell someone like, dude, why aren't you doing weighted chin-ups? That's coming off as like I'm saying he's inferior. Versus, hey, Timmy, how many times a week do you load up your chin-ups and really get after it? What do you think he's going to say?
I don't do that.
He doesn't do it. Chin-ups, one, aren't cool, and we don't load them up. And so I like to load them up and put a little weight on there, see what he can do for 3 to 5 reps. Especially in that hanging position, he's going to get his lats pretty sore just from doing one set of those, and he's probably not used to getting his lats sore. So on this vertical push day, that's how I classify this. We're going to do military press and the chin-ups. 3 rounds. I'm going to go heavier than he's used to. We're going to get up to about 6 reps. and I'm really going to focus on his form. I'm not going to let him compensate weight for form. If he starts getting kind of janky, I'll drop the weight, give him a lighter load, and really focus on repetition. I'm going to teach him about Miyagi-isms, as I call them, especially with January 1st, we got Cobra Kai season 3 coming out. I'm super excited. I'm going to talk about wax on, wax off. And if you remember the first ones, Daniel's son, what happens is he learns to paint the house and wash the deck and do that wax on, wax off. That's what we need to focus on: repetition, repetition, repetition. So I'm going to, typically you're going to find that guys will go heavier than girls. So his ligaments and tendons are strong enough. I would like to see what he can do for 6 reps. And then maybe even go a little heavier than normal and work on an eccentric. So if he's doing a single arm press, I may give him a load where he can do it for 6, and I'm gonna help him for 2 more. And I'm gonna teach him to control it eccentrically. Switch it on to the other side, do those chin-ups, and then we're, that first circuit is gonna be good to go. So I'm gonna get into the next group of exercise. I wanna show him something he's not used to. So one of my favorite ones would be like a landmine press. A landmine press is a similar variation of the military. It's going to be unilateral. It's a lot healthier on shoulders as well. Same is a split stance unilateral press. So I'm going to have him do that. And then I'll probably throw in some abs in there because guys love abs. So I would have him go back and forth. I would get engaged, pull it back and forth. And then I'm going to get into some biceps. I would be willing to bet he doesn't do shoulders and biceps. I just did a post on our internship page. Let's see how you guys would do right now. I asked, can you train the same muscle back to back? What do you guys think?
What do you mean, in the same routine?
Same day. Sorry, if I did, so for example, yesterday I did 5 sets of 1 on bicep curls. Today I did bicep curls. Is that something that's suggested or not?
Yes.
You're correct, Kyle. You can, but what do you think most people are going to say?
No.
Yep. And that's exactly what Timmy's going to say. Well, you can't do that. Why is that, Timmy? Because you need your muscles to recover. Now, I have that power of authority. I can say it. So, Timmy, we're going to play a little game real quick. This is one of my little tricks I like to do. To speak, bro, you got to be a little bit of a tool. So I'm going to get Timmy to laugh. I'm going to say, Timmy, I want you to flex. Timmy's going to flex. Yeah. Nice, nice. Let me show you something really cool, Timmy. Called the solar eclipse. And then I'm going to laugh and I'm going to get in front of him and I'm going to flex and show that my arm's bigger than his. But Timmy, how is it that my arms aren't going to grow, but yet they're 3 times your size? And I'm going to say it in a fun way. I'm not like making him feel bad, but how is it possible that I did biceps yesterday and I did them today, yet they were still capable of growing? It's because I understand the physiology, and what I did yesterday was low volume, low damage, high motor unit recruitment. Those motor units that I engaged yesterday are resting for today. And they are still resting because in my workout today, I was doing sets of 10 to 12. I wasn't going to failure. So when you understand movement and kinesiology, you can train properly and you can get the growth that you want. Now, if you're an athlete, am I going to suggest for you to do plyos Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? No, different for general pop. If Timmy just hit 25 sets of biceps yesterday, I'm not going to have him do biceps today. There's a time and a place in understanding programming. If I only did 5 sets yesterday, who's my good math person in here? Who's good at math? Everyone gets quiet. Come on, Mark, you're going to be my math guy. Right? Can you help me out with 5 times 1? 5 times 1?
5.
Good. So you got our volume of 5 yesterday, which is heavy load. But the sets and the total work that was done is extremely low. So today I can get after it and do a little more volume. Now, if I want to rest tomorrow, I can. If I want to do more biceps tomorrow, I could. As long as you're not doing too much volume. So this is what we need to understand: the mechanisms of hypertrophy, stress, tension, and damage. And then also understand the acute variables, frequency, intensity, time. Sorry, frequency, volume, and frequency, intensity, volume, those 3. So I'm going to have him do some biceps today. And we're going to go a little heavier than he's used to. We're going to get up to a 6 rep max. And then I'm going to teach him a drop set. And then I'm going to have him do some iso holds. You know, it's also kind of fun. What I'll do here is like the last round, I'm going to do a goblet set. And if you don't know what a goblet is, you keep the weight here. So the limiting factor when you do a goblet is actually your biceps. And so if we just toasted his biceps just by doing 3 sets, I'm going to do a set of goblets at the end. And his last rep, I'm going to have him come down at the end and just hold, almost at an angle like this. So it's just stressing isometrically the biceps. Hold. Maybe 5, 10, 15 seconds. I'm going to take the weight from him. He's going to be like, oh, wow, I've never done that before. That was crazy. That was a crazy pump. Remember, we're doing a shoulder day here. So we got pushing shoulders. We got some biceps in there. We did chin-ups first, multi-joint first over single joint. So now I'm going to do some lateral raise variation with some biceps. And that's my workout for him today. So I'm going to have him come out here, maybe slow down the eccentrics, find out a variation he's not doing a lot. I'm going to push him down eccentrically. I'm going to see what he's not used to doing. And I'm going to show him a new bicep exercise at the end as well. So then this shoulder workout hits all parts of his deltoid. And what I did was I gave him something he's not used to, but added a lot of value on things that he's done before. It wasn't completely different. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring him back to the table. I'm going to sit him down. I'm going to go over what the plan looks like because he asked for specifically more upper body than lower. So what I would do with this programming is be something probably like chest biceps. I would do back triceps. I would do shoulders and then full body.
Chris, on the military press and the landmine press, is the military press more the medial and the landmine press more the anterior portion of the shoulder?
That's a fair assertion. I'll take that. Now, when you do an Arnold, that's where you're going to get all 3 heads, whereas military landmine is just more anterior. You're right. Landmine would be more anterior. Military here would be more medial.
Got it.
So here would be my program for him. And I'm just going to, I was really setting this up for showing what that assessment would look like. I will put into this program what the actual days look like for his 4 workouts. I would do a chest and bicep day, a back and triceps, a full shoulder day, and then a full body day. And this would be very curious to him because he would be like, I've never done this before. And so when I sit him down, I'm going to ask him, Timmy, how'd you like today? What'd you think? Get him talking. Oh, so cool, man. I've never done like a military and a chin up, and I learned a lot. But look, great. So that's exactly what you said when you came in here. You want to put some size on and feel more confident. How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling, don't get me wrong. I mean, that smile you got on your face when we did those unique 28s you've never done before on a bicep curl, you felt pretty good, huh? So here's the expectations. When you're training like this for a solid 3 months, you're going to get stronger. You're going to feel better, but you're going to start looking significantly different as well. And you said you wanted to train 4 times when you came in here. That's what I'm going to suggest for you. So what times and day work best for you? So notice how I flip it around on him and I didn't ask, so do you want to train with me? No, I know he wants to train with me. I'm not asking for permission. When I go to the doctor, I'm not going to give the doctor advice on what type of medication I should be taking for strep throat. I'm asking for his advice. And so I'm doing the same. What days do you want to train? And he's going to say Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Awesome. What times? 9 o'clock. Or maybe he's going to say, can I go day by day? That's fine. You're going to have my access to my phone. Just all I ask is 24-hour notice if you need to cancel a session, which is perfectly fine. And I'm typically pretty cool. Like if we got to train like at 9 o'clock in the morning and you text me the night before, I'm all right with it. But it's case by case. So I'm going to schedule in right now, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 9 a.m. I'm going to suggest that we do 4 by 4, which will be 16 times 3, which will be 48 sessions. It's going to be X amount. How do you want to pay for it, Timmy? That's it. It's funny because when we present this, people lose their shit. Like, oh, he's going to say that. I was like, no, he came in. He wants to get bigger. He wants more confidence. Who can help him with that? I can. So I present the plan. And then the number one most important thing after you present those 48 sessions for that amount, what do you need to do?
How are you going to pay for it?
Nope.
How are you going to pay for it?
You shut up. You don't say anything.
Shut up.
There you go. And you look at him, you smile, First one to talk loses. And maybe he gets a little, maybe he starts moving around. Okay, so I'm just going to be calm and think about what's going on. I'm not going to assume or start talking. More times than not, you're going to, okay, is that my dad pays for it? Yep, definitely. Let's get him on the phone right now. And you're like, holy shit, his dad just paid $5,000 for training. You don't know. If he says it's, something I need to think about, you don't give up there. You got to ask, you got to pry, but you do it in a way that's not like the last guy, which was very pushy. All right, Timmy, since you're here in front of me, let's talk about what do you need to think about? What's going through your mind right now? That's it. And then you learn what his anxieties are. Right now with COVID, Chris, I'm not going to lie, I have no money. I'm on unemployment, and I'm going back and forth. I'm doing this security gig on the under the table. I'm making like $500 a month to live at home. I don't have the money. So when you came in here, Timmy, what were your expectations on what was your budget and what can you afford? I want to provide a solution for him. That's it. So I'm going to learn that from him. If he says $100, great. Here's what I'm willing to do. I can write out a program for you for a month, and you can just pay me every month via Venmo, and I'll send it to you. We're good to go. Maybe it's one session and a full program. I'm going to learn that from him. We get so caught up in our mind of coulda, woulda, shoulda. What if he says this? We don't know. Just ask. That's all sales is. And if you go in there with an anticipation that the worst case scenario is going to happen, you're going to have a very hard time doing this. Present the package that you feel is best for him, and then go from there. Because more times than not, you're going to be surprised. He's going to be like, well, can I do more than 4 times a week? Yeah, I think you should. I train 6 times a week, so I suggest you do 6. But you didn't ask me how many times that I think you should train. You said you wanted to do 4.
Hey, Chris, it's interesting. You say this on every call, and, I always think about chiming in on it, but, I was with Home Depot for 25 years. And one of the things that, I learned the most from a sales perspective is, never sell with your own pocketbook. And I did have a little bit of hesitation going from sales of, Home Depot and $50,000 kitchens and windows and all this. And, you judge an 18, 19-year-old kid and go, hey, you know what, they probably just don't have the money for that. But I have been surprised more than 10 times over on the fact that you just, know your worth. And, you'd be surprised how many 19, 20-year-olds have the financial ability to do it. And again, it goes back to don't sell with your own pocketbook. It really makes a lot of sense.
So like I said, I'll design, put this into the program when we have it finished, but his rep scheme, I would probably do like a daily undulating periodization. It's called DUP. And what that would look like would be the first exercise. I'd like to get a little heavier, maybe 6 to 8 reps, progressively overload. The second set of exercise, I'll get maybe 8 to 12. And the last group is when you want to establish and induce that metabolic stress to higher rep range. I wouldn't do that with the beginner. He's been training, and so I'm going to give him a program that he hasn't been doing for a solid month. And then after a month, we'll give him another progression on that. So this is where I would start. This I would sell a 19-year-old who's looking to put some size on. Do you guys have any questions before we call it a night?
Hey, Chris, would you put shrugs more on a, because typically, I would say even when I was younger, shrugs was always a big part of the workout. Would you put shrugs more with shoulders or, back?
Your traps are more of a type 1 muscle. I would prefer to see more farmers carries just because we don't do them very much. You could do shrugs every single day. You put them on a shoulder day. You can put them on a back day. You can put them on a chest day. I would just say change up the load. Yeah, I would put that in. So as I was training him more, I would just put that here as a B.
Okay.
Shrugs or a walk. I would prefer a walk because he's probably not used to doing that.
Got it.
I have a question.
Yep.
Can you repeat the answer to why you can train a muscle group back to back? I didn't get that one.
Yeah, so it obviously depends on the situation, but you need to take a look at the training variables and how much you damage the muscle prior. So for my case, I went real heavy with the low volume and the damage was very low because I went heavy, 5 sets of 1. So my total volume on that one was just 5 reps. I wasn't sore the next day, and I was perfectly okay to train like I did today for 5 sets. It depends on the scenario. If you're someone like Arnold and you're doing 20 to 25 sets and your arms just obliterated, annihilated, then obviously you need to take some time off. But that wives' tale of you need to allow the muscles to rest for 3 to 4 days is complete horseshit. It's based off of the damage that's being done. So it's like someone telling you that, oh, you can't run every single day. Well, that's too vague. I need context behind that. How often you're running? How hard are you running? How's your body holding up? Are you new? Are you young? It's like, so we can't just take one piece of saying like that and just run with it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
When is that second book coming out?
I'm working on it, and I'm hoping tomorrow and the next day I'll be able to get it out there. So, be completely done so then I can go through the Amazon process. So soon, Mark.
The first one's pretty good, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's really good. I like the hair in the back picture.
Yeah.
It's Thug style.
All right, everyone. So tomorrow morning we'll be getting into some more corrective exercise stuff with shoulder, and then we'll do another talk at 4 o'clock tomorrow night. Have a good rest of the night.